Hello, everyone. Today I am talking about protecting yourself from fire related toxicity. And this is especially for my patients and followers in Southern California. And I know that you guys are really going through it right now. And I've had some patients ask me if there's a protocol they can do to protect themselves from the fire related toxicity that is in the air. Of course, we are dealing with damage to property and our personal belongings, but also we need to think about the damage that may be happening to our internal systems, to our health. And so we're going to be talking about that today. And we are going to be talking about how wildfire toxins impact health and inflammatory conditions, especially eczema, because I know that a lot of my followers have eczema. We are going to talk about the steps to reduce exposure and support detoxification because there's a lot of toxins floating around in the air. And then we're going to talk about a sample daily plan for reducing toxicity and inflammation. And this can be applicable to anybody anybody being exposed to these fire related toxins, but especially those with inflammatory conditions. You might be noticing that your inflammation is increasing if you are being exposed to these toxins at this time. Okay. And definitely stay till the end. I'll be talking for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then I will answer all of your questions. So if you have any questions leading up to that end part where we do a Q&A, please go ahead and type them into the chat box now, and then I will go back and answer those. Okay. So first, let's talk about how wildfire toxins impact health and inflammatory conditions like eczema, asthma, even autoimmune conditions and other inflammatory diseases. Well, unfortunately, there are a lot of toxins just floating around in the air. We have particulate matter that is very, very, very small. And these tiny particles penetrate deep into the lungs and the bloodstream. Unfortunately, they can cause oxidative stress and systemic inflammation. Now, a lot of the times when we have a lot of inflammation, we already have a lot of oxidative stress. And you want to think of oxidative stress like if you cut open an apple and you see that apple is nice and beautiful, and then over time, if you leave it on that table, it's going to oxidize and it's going to get brown. Well, that's the same thing that happens when our cells are exposed to a lot of oxidative stress. And, again, we'll see that kind of aging, browning effect that's happening inside of our systems. And so when we are exposed to these particulate matter, that is from the fire toxicity, then we can have this increased load of oxidative stress. We can have what are called volatile organic compounds or VOCs, and these are chemicals released during combustion. And this can irritate the skin and the respiratory system and disrupt hormonal imbalance, even. And this happens when there's any type of combustion. So, even when you're cooking or you're barbecuing, but of course, when we are having these fires in Southern California, this is happening, frequently and throughout Southern California right now. And so we're having a lot of those VOCs being released into the air. Carbon monoxide will reduce the oxygen delivery to the body, and this puts a lot of stress on your organs. Your organs need that oxygen to get nutrients delivered, and so when you have more carbon monoxide, you're actually not getting a lot of that nutrient delivery. And then, of course, the dry air and the heat may cause, if you have eczema or any other inflammatory skin condition, a dehydration on the skin and skin irritation. And then this could kind of exacerbate those eczema symptoms. But all of these toxins in general will exacerbate all types of inflammatory conditions. And so this can be a big problem. So if you are living in Southern California and you're dealing with these fire related toxins, then here are some steps that you can take so that you can protect your system. So, first of all, you have to strengthen your detox pathways. Right now, you're dealing with a lot of toxins that are coming through. So, one of my favorite antioxidant is called glutathione. And at Clean Body, we have a product called Cellular Health. And this is a master antioxidant. It supports your body's ability to neutralize neutralize free radicals and detoxify harmful chemicals. So that browning of the apple, we want to make sure that we avoid that oxidation, and glutathione can really help. We have a couple of other supplements at Clean Body, but in general, these include some toxin, some things to help toxins detoxify out of your system, like milk thistle, protein, and even things like vitamin C and other antioxidants, NAC, etc. And so a lot of these are found in some of our products. So one of our products is called Clean Body Cleanse, and this is actually a protein powder that you can use for cleansing. So if you like shakes in the morning, that's a great one to do. You can also add to your shakes Clean Body Greens, which is a greens supplement, and or if you make your smoothies, just throw in a bunch of greens. Make sure they're organic, because of a lot of our greens do have pesticides on them if they're not organic. Okay, so make sure that they are organic greens, or if you if you prefer, you can just get a supplement like our Clean Body Greens. And then we have something called Clean Body Complete, which is a multivitamin liquid. And we like to do this in a drink that we call the Clean Body drink that we do first thing in the morning with a little apple cider vinegar and flaxseed oil and lemon juice. And that's a really great flush of your system every morning. And then if you prefer, instead of using, the Clean Body Cleanse in a smoothie, you can also do liver support through capsules. We have one called Bile Essentials. And then we also have a clean liver formula if you prefer to do liquids. And that could be good for kids if you have kids who need this liver support. It's very gentle and it's called Clean Liver Formula. And we really need, your liver is the workhorse of your detoxification process. We really need to help those toxins move through the phases of detoxification. And that's what these nutrients do, from glutathione to milk thistle to, even vitamin C and B vitamins. All of these nutrients really are just helping those toxins to move through that detox process so that they can get out of your system. But then the other thing you really want to think about is, are you having a bowel movement every day? And then we need to think about diet. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. The next thing we want to think about is reducing inflammation naturally. Now, of course, you can do this in your diet by eating a lot of nutrients such as omega 3s, which you're going to find in your fatty fish. You're going to find in hemp seeds, flax seeds, these are really anti-inflammatory. So you want to make sure to increase those in your diet. Vitamin C, so you're going to have all those citrus foods. Sometimes citrus foods can irritate people with eczema, but if it doesn't irritate you, then definitely all the citrus foods, have a lot of vitamin C. And then you want to do things that are anti-inflammatory. You can even cook with things like turmeric, that are found in curries and things like that to lower inflammation. And then probiotic rich foods like your kefir and your yogurts and your sauerkraut are all really good ideas right now to lower inflammation. But if you're having a hard time getting these in your diet, you may want to supplement. And so you can do things like, we have a product called Omega Essentials to supplement omega 3s. We have a product called Clean C, and we have a product called Gut Mend that has a lot of different anti-inflammatories that are specifically targeted to lower inflammation in your gut, but it can actually lower inflammation overall. And we do have a probiotic called Gut Restore. Of course, first off, I like to try to get these from diet if we can. And if you're noticing that, you really don't like fish, or it's really something that you don't put in your diet, then that's where supplementation can be really important. And right now, if you're having a lot of inflammation, even if these are in your diet, you may want to think about supplementing just to get that additional support to reduce inflammation naturally. Now, if you have eczema, you do want to make sure that you are putting extra protection on that skin. And so a really good emollient is a good idea. We have a product called Clean Skin Protect at Clean Body, and that is like an ointment. So it's really thick and it will go on the skin to provide a barrier. You can also do things like beef tallow. I do prefer you don't use ointments like Vaseline or Aquaphor that have things like petroleum and mineral oil in them. Okay. And then a nice bath soak would be really great. At Clean Body, we sell one by a company called Soakness. And this is really great for detoxification. So, a really great thing to do right now. But if you are having eczema and all of these fire related toxins are irritating you, this can also soothe the irritated skin and, even relieve the dryness. And, if you're having things like infections just because you're so irritated and scratching a lot, there is hydrogen peroxide in this bath so that it will help with an antimicrobial effect there. Now, first thing in the morning, I do want you to rinse those nasal passages because you are breathing these toxins in the air. And if you are going outside, you may also want to clean out your nasal passages when you get home as well, so once or twice a day depending on how much exposure you're getting. And then you can do a steam inhalation as well. So using essential oils, you can actually get a steamer or you can just get a pot and then, put water in it, turn on your stove, and then stick the essential oils in. And as that starts to steam, you can just put your head over it. So those are all ways you can do steam inhalation. If you're feeling a lot of congestion, then I might recommend that or doing a really good nasal rinse with a saline nasal rinse. And you can use something like a neti pot, or you can get something like, they have sprays that have things like xylitol and saline in there. So those are all fine to use. And then, of course, we want to make sure that indoor air quality is really good. So you want to use HEPA air filters. And if you go to cleanbody.health/filters, you will see a bunch of filters that I recommend. I like Air Doctor and I like a couple other filters that actually show you the particulate matter, how much particulate matter is in your air. So that can be a really great just kind of tool to see, okay, great. Everything is clean, everything is clear. And actually, when toxins are coming through the air, you'll see that light up and it'll turn red. And so that can be really helpful. If it's really dry where you are, you want to keep that indoor air moist with a humidifier. I like to shoot for about 55. Going a little higher than that, you might get a problem with mold. Getting lower than that, you might have a problem with dryness. So 55 is good. And you can buy a humidity reader on Amazon. They're very cheap, so you can check on your humidity levels frequently. Okay. And then just wipe down surfaces. You might actually see particulate matter on your surfaces, and using a wet cloth might be good so that you're not just getting it into the air. So you're actually picking up all of that particulate matter. Okay. And then you have to be drinking a lot of water and you have to be pooping every day, okay? So if you're not doing those things, one of the first things to check in with is, are you hydrated enough? And we need to flush our systems out. So, flushing out the system is pretty much just drinking water. So if you guys do that, that'll be really helpful. Throwing some additional things like lemon juice and apple cider vinegar in there can help you to flush a little bit more. But just water by itself is really great. You might also need some electrolytes, so you could also put some electrolytes in there as well too. And then as we said, an anti-inflammatory diet is really key. We mentioned a lot of supplements here, but a lot of this you can get through food. So if you just make sure to put rainbows on your plate, all of the colors are really going to give you those beautiful nutrients that we need for antioxidants. And remember, we talked about how these toxins are really causing oxidative stress on the system. So these colorful foods are filled with antioxidants. So get those colors in. If you have kids, try to get the rainbow on the plate, get all of the colors of the rainbow. And that's a really great place to start. But if you are having a hard time, then we have a product called Clean Body Greens. That could be really helpful because that'll get your greens in if your kids are having a hard time getting those in. And then Clean Body Cleanse, of course, is great with the smoothie. And so, there's things you can do to supplement, but of course, we always want to think about diet as the first line of defense. Okay. So, I wrote a blog on this topic. If you guys want to access that, you can go to cleanbody.health/blog. And in the blog, I do detail a routine using some of these tools that I mentioned. And the sample routine is you wake up in the morning, you put on your emollient or clean skin protect. You make sure to drink that water with a squeeze of lemon, or you can do what we call our clean body drink, and we do have the recipe for that in the blog. And then you want to wake up and cleanse out those nasal passages because you've been breathing in air really deeply all night long, and we want to clean that out. And first thing in the morning. And then if you are going to do something like glutathione, it's great to do it first thing in the morning. Get those antioxidants first thing in the morning. And then we want to think about some way of detoxification. So you can either do a cleanse smoothie, and the recipe is in our blog. You can take supplements like bile essentials or the liver tincture that I mentioned earlier. You can also move your body and sweat first thing in the morning. This is a really great way to get your lymphatic system moving and get yourself detoxifying. If you have a way of sweating like an infrared sauna, this is really great. This can actually sweat out those toxins that you have inhaled. So some way of detoxification would be really great. Then for your meals, you want to do that anti-inflammatory meal that I was talking about. And then if you aren't doing a lot of omega-3s, then you may want to supplement. So omega essentials is a great supplement. And then as things wind down, you want to maybe try to relax and de-stress. And then this is a great time to do that soakness bath, especially if you have eczema. Even if you don't have eczema, this is a great bath to do to just detoxify. And while you're in that bathtub, do some deep breathing exercises. If you don't have a bathtub, then just do some deep breathing exercises anyways. Get that fresh oxygen into your lungs. And hopefully this is, not outdoors where you might be exposed to those toxins, but indoors where you have maybe an air filter going and you know that the air is clean. And I always love the 4-7-8 method. So breathing in for 4, holding for 7, and releasing for 8. And then at night, you could do some evening supplements like the anti-inflammatories like Gut Mend, or taking omega essentials at that point as well too. So, there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of support that anti-inflammatory and detoxification, those mechanisms in your body. All right. So when you're winding down, sometimes it might be harder to sleep because you have more toxins in your system. So if you do all of that throughout the day, your sleep should be doing pretty well, but make sure that that room is cool and dark and you're limiting screen exposure, so all of that is just general stuff. And then of course, putting your emollient on again before bed and throughout the day, especially if you're going to go outside, you want to put that emollient on so that you're just protected. Okay. We're deep cleaning throughout the week. We're using those HEPA air filters. And so all of that makes a huge difference. Okay. So if you are having pretty severe symptoms right now, if your symptoms have increased drastically since being exposed to the fire-related toxins, or if you're having difficulty breathing, you will want to reach out for help. And of course, in many states, I can support you. And, if you have really severe eczema right now, it may not be a good idea to just start taking these supplements. You want to ask your practitioner or consult with me so we can kind of figure out what is the best route for you right now. A lot of these supplements that I mentioned here today and the diet and a lot of the recommendations are actually what we do for eczema anyways. These are things that potentially can be used. But sometimes when you use something like glutathione and your eczema is really flaring, glutathione may, because it's going to increase your detox process, it may actually increase your detox process to the point where you actually get some detox symptoms and your symptoms flare. So that's when it can be really important to seek help. If you are someone who isn't having many symptoms or your symptoms are very low, these are things you can try, and definitely check out the blog so you can just kind of read all of this, and all of the links to purchasing the supplements are there as well too, and the links to the filters and everything are in the blog as well. Okay. So, my heart goes out to everybody who is dealing with this right now. And, I have a couple of people that I know who have lost their homes. And so, I know that we're worried about that, but I also want to make sure you're thinking about your health Make sure you're protecting your health. If you have lost your home, remember you still have your health and your family, and that can be the most important thing. So we want to make sure to protect that, okay? All right. So, again, if you do have eczema, make sure you check out my free eczema root cause assessment. That can be a really great place to start. If you are dealing with the fire related issues, of course, that might be the first thing to think about in terms of root cause if you're seeing an increase in your symptoms right now. But beyond that, there will be other root causes of your eczema. And so this can help you understand and identify that. The link is in my bio, or you can direct message me, and I'm happy to send you the link directly. If you're interested in booking a one-on-one consultation so that I can evaluate you and help you through this process, just direct message me, or the link is also in my bio. You can use the code IG10 for 10% off, and there is a money-back guarantee on this consultation as well too, okay? All right, so I would love to open it up to questions now. If you have any questions, please go ahead and type into the chat box. And we are talking today about protecting yourself from fire-related toxicity. And for those of you who are in California, Southern California, and you're dealing with a lot of this, please ask any questions here. And we do have a blog that we wrote about this, so we are talking about that in the blog as well too. Okay, all right. So if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and type into the chat box now. All right. And I don't see any comments coming in. So thank you so much for everybody who joined us. And we will be posting this on our Instagram. And so we will see you soon. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.